Good morning. I'm Jim Cherney, and this is Hardline. Carlos Slim is one of the richest men in the world, and certainly the richest Mexican in the world. His fortune amassed in tobacco, real estate, and the monopoly control of the Mexican phone companies, Telmex and America Movil, Latin America's largest telephone company, which also has one of the highest rates in the world for toll charges, makes him currently the 7th richest man in the world. He has held this position as the richest man in the world several times, ahead of Warren Buffett and Bill Gates. His wealth has been built on the backs of the Mexican people. He also happens to control the most influential newspaper in the world, the New York Times. It's no secret and quite obvious that the New York Times does not support Donald Trump. At this time, it is practically a comedy to read any political article in it. The obvious spin against Donald Trump is painfully clear when the New York Times begs Latin American voters to vote for Hillary Clinton. His reasons are also clear. His loyalties are to Mexico. If Donald Trump is elected and does build his wall, Mexico will no longer have the ability to send their wretched refuse to the United States. Don Carlos is known for playing the long game. Eventually, Hispanics will become the majority in the United States, but they aren't the majority yet, and the American people still have the ability to control the destiny of this great country. Another notable U.S. newspaper owned by an extremely rich man, Jeff Bezos, also seems to have it out for Donald Trump, the Washington Post. Bezos purchased it in 2013, and on December 8, 2015, Donald Trump had words for Jeff Bezos. He was concerned about the tax burden that Amazon seems to skirt by manipulating the losses that the Washington Post incurs. Jeff Bezos responded by offering to send Donald Trump to space. Ever since, the Washington Post never seems to cover Trump in a fair light. News spreads by word of mouth, by copy-paste, by aggregation and RSS distribution. It spreads by Google, who Jeff Bezos helped finance in 1998. Did you ever wonder why a visit to news.google.com almost always shows you a Washington Post story? It may be automated, but it's obvious that the algorithm that is grabbing the news is weighted for the Washington Post, New York Times, and the CNN network. This leaves you Bing for non-filtered news. However, Microsoft doesn't seem to have the algorithm correct for Western-speaking English news either. They are grabbing the unfiltered English news, the majority of which is written daily in the largest English-speaking country in the world, India. Where can you get the real news these days? It's a troubling task for a lot of people. The busy people don't notice the spin in the news. Only the people in the Chan seem to notice. They comment on the blatant shilling in the newspapers. They meme their opinions anonymously, oftentimes having their opinions become mainstream and their influence felt by those they call normies. The Chans have become the battleground, deciding for the undecided that are not believing the traditional media.